Democratic presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg unveiling his tax plan. Robert Frank here with the details. Robert.
Hey, Sarah. Well, Bloomberg's $5 trillion plan is more than 50% higher than Joe Biden's, but less than a quarter of the size of Elizabeth Warren's or Bernie Sanders. Now, he would hike the top income tax rate to 44.6%. That's for income over $5 million. He would raise the corporate tax rate to 28%. And he would hike the capital gains tax rate from 20% to 44.6%. That's for those making more than $1 million a year. Now, he would also broaden the estate tax to apply to more Americans, and he would get rid of carried interest. One thing you will not see in his plan is a wealth tax. This, of course, for a man worth $60 billion. He would pay more than $10 billion a year under the Warren or Sanders wealth tax. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, but Rob, if he ever wanted to sell any stake in his company, he'd be hit with a 56% capital gains tax. So, I mean, of the factors of this that stand out most in terms of surprising stark contrast for an entrepreneur and for our audience, for that matter, it is this capital gains tax number.
It's huge, and you're right to point out that 56% rate, which would be the rate if you live in California or in New York, as he does, because you're adding the state and local as well as that federal rate, which because of that $5 million sort of surcharge on those making more than $5 million, goes up to a new top rate of 44.6. So from 20 to 44.6 plus the state, that gets you to, more than half of your capital gain paid in taxes, which for investors would be a huge bill.
So is this more moderate than some of the other Democratic candidates, or kind of right in there with them?
Well, in any other election cycle, this would have been considered an extreme tax proposal when you're talking about especially capital gains rates more than doubling. But in this environment, when we have two of the candidates proposing a wealth tax, which is we've never had before, suddenly this becomes a more moderate proposal. Now, again, it is slightly larger than Biden's, but just a fraction of the Warren-Sanders plan.
Robert, he's someone that we know does a lot of polling extensively, and so one can also assume maybe part of this is he wants to offset his billionaire tag, but the other part, probably this is what his polling has told him the Democratic kind of base wants to hear, which is much, much higher taxes.
Yeah, it's a great point, Wilf. I mean, we can talk about how crazy these tax rates are for our audience, but for most of America, having the wealthy pay what they consider more of their fair share is wildly popular, not just among Democrats, but also Republicans. And if you're Bloomberg looking for that middle vote, the moderates, independents, perhaps even some Republicans, this is a smart policy.
Robert, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.